Hello, lovely people. I missed you so much last week. I missed being here with you guys. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope you are doing well. If you're new here, I'm Marilyn. My channel's Making with Marilyn, and I like to do, oh my camera's over there tonight, isn't it? I didn't flip it back over. So if I keep looking like that, that's because that's where it usually is when I'm on live. But okay, we'll look over here. Anyway, I'm Marilyn, and sometimes I can be a mess like that. Let's see, I embroider, I sew, I do sublimation, I do lasers, I do a little bit of HTV. I don't know what else I do, but that's probably enough for now. But welcome to the live. So I posted something earlier today. It took me 3 times to get it correct. But if you're a member of the channel, you should have a set of 6 different versions. So like extensions, DST, PES, all those things, of what we're stitching out tonight. Now here's the one that I stitched out. It's been 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I don't think I did it on live. I hope I didn't do it on live because that's what we're doing tonight. And since then, I found some things that technically made it better. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. I'm going to show you in Embrilliance kind of what I'm talking about. We're going to stitch this out tonight. Now, I am going to do it on my poulin. Let me add that to this. I'm going to do it on my poulin. My poulin usually stitches out beautifully. I oiled it 2 nights ago. I don't think that has anything to do with it. But when I did a couple of these today, there are some loose loops on the top. So I changed my tension a little bit. I rethreaded. One thing I didn't check, when you oil it, you oil down in the bobbin case. I probably need to check to make sure I got that back in correctly. But I also have it on my multi-needle in case I need to go there. So let me say hello. And I think I saw you in here, Patrice. You've got to be tired. Patrice is a She-Ra. It's her story. I'll let her tell it, but she has to be tired. Hey, Dimps. Thank you. She said, give the video a like on your way in. And just a reminder, Dimps goes on Friday mornings. She goes live, and she has a thumbnail up, and she's going at 9 a.m. Central Time. So if you are interested in that, go subscribe and turn on that bell for this lady right here. All right. Hey, Rosalind. Hey, Sharon Davenport. Hey, Nicole. I don't know why my voice always goes up when I say your name, but it does. Hey, DB. Welcome. Hey, Rachel Unbiased. Let's see. Rosalind, I'm glad to see you have a follow-up appointment. Hey, Addie. Hey, Quilt Wench, welcome. Hey, Sherry and Martha. Hey, Uni. Hi, Creative Notions. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Hi, Jennifer. Hi, Peggy Williams from Washington. Welcome. So glad you're here. I got to look over there. I'm looking in the wrong place. Let's see. Hey, Cindy. Welcome. So glad you could be here, too. Hey, Dorica. Let's see. Nessa would be Imaginative Creations. And I probably butchered that. And I apologize. Hey, Beverly. But welcome here, Nessa. And Evelyn, welcome. Geneva. Peggy Williams. I know, when she shouted me out, that was so sweet of her. Hey, March Roach. Okay, I'm going to start scrolling, but here's the She-Ra. We'll see when she comes on live next. She can tell you about it. Hey, Eve, welcome. All right, I'm going to start scrolling. I apologize if I miss anyone. I see Alice and Jess and Merlinda. Hey, Vicki and Karen, welcome. From West Virginia, welcome. Hey, Kristen. Let's see. And Rose Orange Lynetta, Marissa. Happy late birthday, Marissa. All right, I think I saw Sandra in there. God bless you too. Yes, I do. I do. Hey, Stacy and Shamika. All right, I am scrolling down this time. I think I'm almost at the bottom anyway. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me show you what I'm going to use for this as far as fabrics go. And this is for a Valentine's quilt that I'm digitizing the quilt blocks for. And this is super, super beginner friendly, simple quilt blocks. And if I could see, let me see if I can find the ones that Patrice and I are doing, because I think I have some new people in here. They're over here. I'll just throw things on the floor to get to them. So these are some quilt blocks that Patrice at Craftable Things and I are doing. And everybody that does it, they're just kind of doing them as we do them on lives. And then we're going to have a Zoom. We don't know yet. So that everybody that does the project, we can stitch them together and have the backing and the binding and all that. So see how simple those are? There's like one piece of applique. Does that go that way or that way? One piece of applique on each of the blocks. Another tree. Some cute little mittens. Let me change my camera here. It's either a letter J or a candy cane. There is a snowflake. And the one I didn't think I'd like so much, I love. And I haven't done all of them yet. I still have a few more to do. So I decided I'm going to do a simple little thing like this where it's one piece of applique and it's basically the same shape of the design for your quilting. And so that is how this one came to be. All right. So as far as the fabric that I'm using, I love these together. So when I was at Missouri Star Quilt a while back, they had a lot of things where I saw this as their binding. And it was so cute. So you just have a little, a little peek of it. Just a little peek of it around the outside of your quilt. So I got some of that. And then I have this solid bright pink. I think I'm going to do the Cupid out of that. And then I have this floral fabric that I'm going to use for the background. So the top of the quilt block will be these two colors. And then eventually my binding will be this. Hey, Jenna. Thank you, Evelyn. Thank you, thank you. All right, so let me get my hoop. And I'll kind of talk about, matter of fact, let me pull it up real quick so that you can see some things about it. And then if you're not a member, so I'm going to be doing 1 to 2 blocks per month until I get to either 9 or 10. One of my messages said 9 because I'm going to do a 9 panel. And then today I said 10, so I don't know. I have 2 of them done, but the other one I'm not ready to send out yet because I love to do a final stitch out after I discover, anything I think I might need to change. So let me go ahead and open up in Brilliance, and I'll share my screen with you here in just a minute. And there is my, where is it? Okay, let's just go with this BE right here. Okay. And once I share my screen, I won't be able to see your comments for a while. Okay, so let's start out in the tunnel. And then we'll pull up in Brilliance. And here is what we're stitching out today. And so let me kind of show you how I set it up. So this first run stitch, that is a placement stitch for your batting. And so in my case, I'm just using t-shirt material for my batting. That's what I'm using today. But that is a run stitch for that. So when I do that run stitch, you can see I'm just going around one time, and it's a little bit of a longer stitch length. Then after that, we are going to cut away the extra batting, and then here, okay, wait, did you change? There was the batting. Okay. This run stitch is a little shorter. That's my tack down. Because I'm sewing something down, I also did a tie at the entry and at the exit. I didn't do that on just the placement stitch because you're really just looking to see where to put your batting. Okay, let me back up. This is the position stitch for the batting. This is the material or tack down stitch for the batting. Then we get to our background fabric, and it's going to be stitched a little bit larger. So it goes around once to stitch it down. Notice I tie at the entry, and then it goes directly into this stitch, which is the quilting. And so I tie at the exit. Those two are tied to, those two are seamless. They just keep running, so I don't need a tie off and a tie in both of them. Okay, then we get to, and this, look at this. This was really fun to digitize and figure out how to get it to work where there's no jumps, no lifts. It's just one long, seamless, continuous stitch. Since it's one long, continuous stitch, there's a couple things. Okay, this is basically what's going to show up from this stitch in the end is this string and this string. So I did it as a double. They're a little bit longer. They're not holding anything down. And I did a tie in, and then we go directly into the various things. Now this stitch, until you put your applique fabric down, you're going to see this, but your applique fabric is going to cover it. And I put it there just so I could keep it going seamlessly. Then we have that one, we have this one. And then finally on the last stitch, before we go to a different color or a different color stop, we have a tie at the exit. And then lastly, we have our Cupid. And so we have a placement stitch. Again, I don't do a tie in or a tie off there. We have our tack down or material stitch, and I do tie those down, and it will be a little bit shorter than what this placement stitch was. And then finally a satin border stitch. And notice it's not real wide because these are small, and if it's too wide, you're not going to see the profile of the face. And so it's not a super wide satin stitch, but it's wide enough. And so this one's going to have a tie-in and a tie-out also. And so that's what I've been working on lately, is just making sure it runs seamlessly, that you have the tie-in in the right place, the tie-off at the correct place, and all that. So let's watch this stitch out. And I wish I could see the comments, but I can't see that far. So I shouldn't have myself on the phone that I could see. But let's go ahead and see it stitch out. We're going to use the stitch simulator right here. And first I have the placement stitch for the batting. Then I have the tack down stitch for the batting. Then you take the hoop off, cut away the excess batting, and Patrice and I are going to be showing our Trimmers by George very soon, but I'm not going to use it tonight because we're going to do it together the first time. And then we have our, this step is both the tack down of the background fabric, and it goes directly into the quilting. Then we have the bow and arrow, and it's all just one long run of stitches, or different types of stitches. Then after that, we have the placement stitch or position stitch for the fabric, and then we have the tack down. Whoops, I missed one of them. That one's gray. So here was the position stitch, then here was the tack down stitch, and then here's that satin border. And so it's a simple looking little thing, but I learned a ton. I learned a ton from doing this thing. So I'm excited to show you the final version of it tonight. Okay. All right. So let's get started. I don't even know if I'll do the multi-needle. You know, first of all, I don't like doing embroidery on lives because I feel like it's loud. And then I feel like I'm shouting over it. And that's really annoying, I'm sure. And if the pooling is fine, we're going with it. If it's not, we're going to do it on both machines because I stitched it out today. I use such awful colors when I just do practice stitch outs. I just use scrap stuff. And here it's stitched on the pooling. You can't see it from there, but there's some, it's not real smooth and flat like it usually does. So I might change out a needle too. All right, and then here I stitched it out on my Smart Stitch multi-needle. And it did a beautiful job. So, hey, Angel Bee. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this stabilizer cut. I am using cutaway stabilizer. On the pooling, I will use one layer of it. If I do this on the multi-needle, I'll use 2 layers of it. I always use 2 layers on the multi-needle, even if one is just a temporary tearaway on the very back. Of course, I always on clothes you wear, I always have my layer of, typically I'm using the poly mesh, or the no-show mesh, I'm sorry, against the shirt, and then I have a second one just for temporary stability. All right. Hey, Terry. Angel B, I wanted so badly tonight to try my mic, and then it's like I need to do it in a private live, like with my husband first, to make sure that it is going to work right. But yours sounded excellent, excellent Monday night. All right, we're going to let that heat up. I'm going to cut my applique fabric in the laser. Now, if you're a member and you got the files, you're going to see that I gave you a cut file in case you prefer to cut your fabric instead of hand cut it. So you could cut it in a Romeo, a Juliet, a Cricut, a Silhouette, whatever you can use to cut fabric. Hey Joyce, welcome. Welcome, welcome. All right. Hey, that's a good question. I wanted to ask, hey Cookie Cook, I wanted to ask, what are you guys working on right now? And I don't necessarily mean right this moment, but what's the project that you're working on currently? Are you putting together some type of quilt? Are you doing laser projects? Are you painting? What are you working on? All right, so I have these magnets. Let me get them. And I keep them far apart because I hate when they click together. I'm trying to figure out something I could make to slide them down into, but the layers between them have to be pretty thick because I tried to do something, I didn't put it together, but I tried to kind of prototype something that was just wood. And these magnets are so tight, it was going through the wood. You pull one out and the others came out, or at least a couple others came out. So, hey Deborah, welcome. Quilt and embroidered bag tags, that sounds fun. T-shirts, Jenna's doing t-shirts. Doing a t-shirt craft bar fair this weekend, that is cool. Is it with DTF or HTV or what is it? Bobby's doing DTF and laser. Jess, I know Jess, you probably have 20. What are you working on? Bag tags, phone charms. Hey Robin, you're piecing a fall quilt. Very cool. Harvest wall hanging from Hoop Sisters. I bet that's cute. A baby jelly. Oh, speaking of jelly rolls, I don't think I brought that up here. You know, in my last live, I did that basket. And here's how it ended up. It's a cute basket, but it is not going to hang and hold my Danny glasses, my granny glasses. And so then I started making a jelly roll basket. And if I have time, I'll run down and get what I have done so far. But I thought maybe next week I could do 2 more jelly rolls. And they're only like 14 inches long, and zigzag those together, zigzag into my other ones that I already have together, and then figure out how to finish the bottom and figure out how to finish the side. Okay, sublimating pictures on a pillowcase. That's a fun project. That is a fun project. I did some, and it said sweet dreams, and 1 year for anniversary, I think I did, it was like wifey, hubby, and established way back in the dark ages. I love that project. DTF. 2 identical quilts. So do you have 2 kids or grandkids that you're making them exactly alike for, so they don't fight over them? Hey, Keisha. Hey, Dibs. Thank you, Cindy. Okay, Shamika, working on a quilt for my grands. It's a fun Halloween harvest jelly roll. They turned 3 in October. Aww. And they're twins, right? Shamika, I'd like to see a picture of that. Okay, checking out Poolin InStitch free embroidery software. I have never used that. 2 quilts. Doing things for your sister now. 2 grown-ups. 2 grown-ups that like the same thing. Hello and welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, thank you, Sharon. She says, hit that thumbs up. All right. And hey, Boyd. Okay, so let me do less talky, more worky. I had somebody leave that comment under one of my pre-recorded videos. A pre-recorded one. And it's like, you guys have seen my pre-recorded videos. They're not long. And there's no extra blah, blah, blah. The extra blah, blah, blah is saved for lives. In a live, so if you're new, my lives are interactive and I'm just working on some stuff. And then if I can, you know, inspire or teach a little something, I do. But my lives are more for like, you know, trying out designs, trying out new things, that kind of thing. Sometimes I do a, you know, a digital lesson, but a lot of times we're just having fun. It's just fun and fellowship. I know, can you believe she has grandkids? When I met her, I was like, you look 25. How can you have grandkids? All right, so we have it hooked up. All we're going to start with is the stabilizer. Now, where's my t-shirt fabric? I think it's right over there. So let me get this started after I put my thread on. Just watch an old video you did on wood earrings with the paper and Mod Podge. Oh, you just finished your first leather hand. Oh, man, I'd love to do a leather handbag. Too much chatting with Cute Tree. Say, it's a live. That's what we do on lives. All right, so hopefully you guys can hear me. But one thing that I learned when I started embroidering, and I learned it from you guys, was to never pull your thread backwards. It's meant to go through the path this way. So don't pull it backwards. Cut it and pull it out down here. And I love all the tips that I've learned from the chat over the years. And the chat got me through. The chat has gotten me through a lot of stuff. All right. Oops, did I get it? Chris, I don't know if you're in here in the bushes, but look, I have the head cover on, and it's even screwed on. Whoops. There we go. All right, I'm gonna have to get in front of the camera, so I'm gonna cover it up real quick. Otherwise, you're just looking at the back of my head. And on my head is not attractive in the least. All right, so we have our thread on there. I did say I was going to look at this bobbin case, didn't I? Because I don't know what has gone on, because this was stitching so perfectly. Okay, it feels like it's fine. Otherwise, I would take this plate off and I would get down in there. But if you were here at the beginning, I just oiled this machine a couple nights ago. And so I was worried maybe I didn't get the case back in quite correctly, but it feels good. All right, so let me start over with this. Let's see, let's look at the hoop, make sure I have the right one. Go to embroidery, and I'm going to say ready. And I'm going to use pink for a lot of stuff on this tonight. Okay, let's go on out. What's going on? There we go. And this tail is way too long. I didn't change up the needle like I said I would. Let's see how it goes for a minute. All right, so the first thing it's going to stitch out is a placement stitch. A placement or a position stitch for my batting. So I need to find my t-shirt fabric over here. And let's get a drink of water. Let's get a drink of water. Thank you, Patrice. She said, hits the thumbs up. Hey, Faye. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, Sharon. Okay. So next, we're going to tack down our batting, aka husband's old t-shirt. Now, let me grab a chopstick. Stacy, are you watching this? Calling Stacy. Hey, Betty, welcome. Oh, I need to get my other stuff ready. Okay, so I need to get some, I need to press this. I think this is such a pretty fabric. I love it. All right, take this off. And let's trim away the excess batting. That way, which is optional, but that way eventually when you are sewing your quilt blocks together, you're going to have less bulk in the seams. And so, oh, I have new people here. I want to show this off. When Patrice and I did these garden flag projects, where is mine? There it is. I did not cut the batting back, and so you know it's pretty thick, but look at that. I love how that turned out, but this was a ton of stitches, tons and tons of stitches, but I learned a lot from it too. All right, find my little applique scissors here. Hey Valerie, hey Lady Z. Hey Fern, welcome. And was that tuck up there? I think it was. I see her signature. Hey. All right, so I am just cutting up fairly close to the stitches. After so many of you said you love your trimmer by George, you can't live without George, Patrice and I both got one. But we're not using it tonight. Okay, so now another question. So I asked before what kind of projects you guys were working on, and I saw a lot of sewing, embroidery, quilting type things. What software, if you do any digitizing, what software do you use? Hatch, Chroma, Brilliance, Legacy, and I know there's a ton more, but I don't know what they all are. Okay, so we have that. We have this. And what I want to do is I want to make sure that after this is stitched on, I have over a 1/4 inch on each side, because I'm going to do a 1/4 inch seam allowance. But I want it larger, and then I'll square it up. I mean, I'll make it smaller. So if you are pre-cutting your fabric, that's 6, and you want at least a 1/4 on each side, that'd be 6 1/2. I would cut my fabric at least at 7. That might be wasting a tiny bit, but that's just what I would do. And oh, I need to show something that I got recently, and Jess is in here. She sells these on her website, and they're so cool. And I had the audacity to put in a special request to see if she could do it. I bought one from Amazon, and I didn't like it. And I'll show it to you here in just a minute. I didn't like the one from Amazon, and I'll tell you why after I get started. Okay, so I have way more than what I need. But what else would I do? What would I do with a skinny strip of fabric that I would have had left? You know? Luminaire Designs. Okay, let me start this, and then I'll be right back. So this is going to be, it's going to do 2 things. This next stitch is going to tack down my background fabric, and then it's going to go right into the quilting part. Okay. Now the pulling has been really smooth lately. It's pretty darn quiet. Knock on wood. All right, Betty, I said hi. Tuck, I said hi. Fern, hey, Lady Z. Evelyn. Thanks, Melody. Aw. I love it. Good. Okay, so we have a Brilliance and Brilliance. Frickin' strong. Welcome. In Brilliance, and Brilliance, and Brilliance. Good. In Brilliance, and Brilliance, and Brilliance. Chroma and Embered. So what brand or whatever is Embered associated with a machine? I mean, I know you don't have to use their machines to do your designs, but what is that, Roslyn? Let's see. My Design Center for your Luminaire and Brothers BES4 with all the modulars. I guess I'm odd girl out. Cindy, it's okay. It's okay to be the odd person out. I keep looking in the wrong place. I need to look over there. Hey, Sandra. Welcome. Hey, Ruji. Ruji uses Chroma for now. You want to learn in Brilliance. Hey, April Crenshaw. Welcome. All right. And hey, Vivian. Hey there. Hey there. Hey, Brandy. Okay, and Brilliance. All right, so almost everybody, the majority is in Brilliance. That's what I use. I'm not affiliated affiliated with them. It's just what I use, and I like it, so I keep doing it. Now, it's kind of antiquated, but I've learned to use it, so I really like it now. Okay, so we got our background quilting. The next thing is going to be, I hope, I think it is the, let me look at my design. I think it's the bow and arrow. So, go back to here. Yes, the next thing is the bow and arrow. So I want to use something really dark. The centers of those flowers are black, so let's just use black for the bow and arrow. Okay. And Brilliant Stitch Artist 1, haven't used it yet, have a lot to learn. Okay, not tied to anything in particular. Hey, Elba. And Visionary Embrilliance and Embrilliance. I've been on an Embrilliance video kick lately. And so check those out if you're interested. Okay, I'll switch this. Okay, we're gonna cover the camera again so you're not looking at the back of my rodeo hair. Or my behind, as I have to stand up to thread this. Alrighty, got her done, got her done. Hello again. Okay. So now we have the strings, the bow, the arrow, and it's smooth. It's just one continuous stitch. Now I do have my machine on a very slow speed. So this goes up to 600. Now, I usually have been running it on 600. But today when I was getting all those loops, I slowed it way down. I think I'm 450. But the loops didn't show up till the satin stitch. But I have stitched this thing out so many times and it didn't have loops in it. So it's not the digitizing. Thank you. Oh yeah, and another thing, I'm glad you're not afraid to use it now. Another thing, when I started embroidery, I didn't do any designing. I would like stitch out something from a creative fabric cut, or what, you know, somebody would send me. I just wasn't that familiar with it. And so one thing I've discovered since I started was, and I've shown this before, I kind of harp on it too much, but I think it's really important to know this if you're just starting out or if you're getting ready to start out. So let me go ahead and put my screen back on. I know my desktop's terrible, don't look at it. Okay. So, Embrilliance Demo, that is free, and I've had it on my machine, I've had it on my computer for a very long time. So let's open it. You can decide, okay, what do I want to play in today? And so you could just isolate and say, okay, I want everything that comes with Stitch Artist 2, which would include Stitch Artist 1 as well. You open that, and then you bring in your design. You can create designs. And so the beauty is, let's just type something. And it can just be ABC. I don't care if it's ABC. The beauty of it is, when you start out, if you're new, you don't really understand how things work. You don't know the various layers or what's coming when, unless you have an instruction sheet. And so with the demo, just like the regular software, you can do the stitch simulator and you can see exactly how it's going to stitch out. Now this is just ABC, so it's no big deal. But if you have a complicated file, let's see, can I open? And I'm not saying mine are complicated by any means. Let's see, do I have anything down here? All right, here. So this is the other one I've done, but I haven't done a final stitch out. I can run the stitch simulator, and this is whether I make it or I buy it, meaning make the design or buy the design. And I can see exactly the order of the stitches. Whoops, what am I doing? Anyway, I can see exactly the order of the stitches. I can go over here and I can look at the various layers in them. So I can really check out a design before I put it on my machine so that I understand how it works. So I think that demo account is phenomenal. Thank you, Sharon. All right. Thank you very much. Okay, the next stitch should be the placement stitch for our Cupid. And I'm going to turn this fan on over here. Sorry, I'm going to walk right in front of you. I'll go around this time. Okay, so this next stitch is the placement stitch for Cupid. So I'm fine with the placement stitch being black. So let's just go ahead and press start again. But let me look at those. Hey, those look better. Those look much better. I don't see a single loop or a single lift in those. That's wonderful. All right, so let's do the placement stitch for Cupid. And in the meantime, I've been chit-chatting too much. I gotta get some fabric cut. So, go ahead and iron my fabric. And then I'm going to add some Heat and Bond Light to the back of it. Hopefully. Where's the Heat and Bond Light? Oh my goodness, there it is. It scared me because I have it going so slow, it takes longer than usual, and I thought I was wrong on the stitch. Hey, 755, welcome. Okay, so let's cut a piece of this off. Not using my fabric scissors. And I'm going to look and make sure this would cover my Cupid. I think it would. Covers it easily. Now, front and back of this is the same. So, press it down so it'll lay a little flatter. And then I'm just going to press that for about 5 seconds. You want to see Cupid? I'll show you Cupid here in a minute. Hey, here's one version of Cupid. This is one I did a couple weeks ago. Since then, I've done several more, but just with goofy looking fabric. So that I don't, waste my good fabric. Like crazy colors like that. Okay, let's go ahead and cut our fabric. And then we're going to set this in the laser. And I'll go through the software. I'll show you how you do this. Let me get it in the laser and turn the laser on. So I use my laser kind of like some people would use a scan and cut. so let me go ahead. Thank you, Cindy. Thanks, Vicki. Let me open the software. Okay. Now, which one is this? Is this the right one? It is, because I was cutting earlier. So let me share my screen again, and I'll show you what it looks like. This was from earlier today. So you still see the picture of that gray fabric, the fabric that I was using in the crazy colors. This is the right image still in there. So let me hit the refresh button right here. Oh, okay. Let me make sure it's on. Sorry. All right. Of course it's on, or you wouldn't be able to see that picture. So I'm going to go right up here to this little settings gear. Tell it I want to use Wi-Fi. This is it, so I can just select it. And now I'll hit refresh. Oh, didn't even have to hit refresh. It did it on its own. But I'll move this over a little bit. I hope I have enough heat and bond on the back. I hope. It'll hold it well enough, right? It'll hold it well enough. Now, if I was real close to the side, I could use this close-up shot, and you can get zoomed in a lot closer, so that you're not really zoomed in closer, but the camera is closer to it, so it's giving you a more accurate picture. So zooming in has nothing to do with that camera. The way you zoom in, after you get an accurate picture, is just use your keyboard. All right, so that foot is close to something not so great. Let's move it just a little bit. And now I'm going to go right here. This is the setting that I use for all of my cotton fabric that I use for quilting pieces, as well as I cut some crushed velvet in it for an applique I did, and it worked beautifully. So we'll stay with that. Let's go ahead and look at our settings again. We are uncut. That's important to make sure you're uncut. If you go to score, it only has a power of 1. That's just placing a line. This is actually going to cut through it at a power of 80 and a speed of 40. And then let's hit process. And it says it's going to take 29 seconds. So let me go ahead and start my filter and start that cutting. Excuse me. Actually, I have to press start right there. There we go. Okay. Hey, D. Smith. Hey, Marlies. So, Evelyn, this is my extra P2. Alright, it is done. And if you can see my screen, it tells me it's done, and I just confirmed that I didn't want to process it again. So let's take a look at it. And it cut beautifully. And it looks like there's heat and bond on the back everywhere. All right, so here is my little Cupid. Look how good that looks. Looks really, really good. Okay. So since I'm not using my multi-needle after all, because Poulin is behaving, get that out of the way, get some of this out of the way. And now we're gonna press this down. So remove that. And let me hold this up to the camera so you can see a little better. You see our outline of Cupid? This is going to fit in there perfectly. And before somebody in the chat, I think it might have been Quilt Winch. I don't know if you're still here, Quilt Winch, but I believe you and one other person told me that I did not need to inflate my applique cut file. And I was just going by what a really big YouTuber that's been around for a long time was saying. I quit inflating and they fit perfectly now. So thank you for that tip. All right, let's turn this on. This is my little X-Tool mini iron. It is my all-time favorite because it has a larger space or a larger area. I also have an HTV Ron one that has larger, but it has this little area back here where you're supposedly supposed to be able to do like tumblers and stuff. It's rounded, so you lose this back part of the HTV Ron one. So I love this one. And let me put my scissors up. Like a good craftsperson would do. And now we're just going to press this one. Let's see. Hey, Diane. Okay. You have it too. You love it. I do. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. And to me, a must is that it really heats up to pretty much what it says it does. And I can't remember if I did this video or not where I was comparing 4 or 5 of them. I'm sure I did. And I had a gun that would measure the heat. Most of them weren't doing real well. Cricut did excellent. Anyway, I'm going to place this down. Now, because fabric is shifty, because fabric bends easily, what I want to do is I want to make sure, in this case, I'm going to start with the head. The head is exactly where it needs to be. I'm going to put this flat down just on the head. And that's probably long enough. All right, now, and I'm not going to move it on the fabric because the heat and bond, until it sets up, can be, I mean, it's tacky. And I have slid it before. So I learned the hard way to press. Just press it, don't iron it. Press straight down. And then the legs aren't exactly where they need to be. I'll maneuver those to get them where they need to be. So I like to push my fabric down before I start pressing, so that I can see that it's just exactly where I need it to be. Oh no, Elba. I love my coolant. Ow, that's hot. The fabric. That was just the fabric that I was touching that was so hot. Oh, my foot isn't, oh there. I was able to move it. My foot wasn't exactly where it needed to be. Okay, it's still not, but it's going to get covered by that satin border stitch. All right, so since I used a pre-cut of fabric, I don't think I need you anymore, and it's too hot here, so let's turn you off. Because I used a pre-cut of fabric, I'm going to skip over the next step, which would be the tack down stitch. And so let me go ahead and get this on there and skip over that. And I need to change my threading. Okay. So again, we're going to Cut from above, pull from the bottom. Now, sit down. I'm just going to turn the table this time so that I can see it straight on, so I'm not getting in front of the camera. Then I'll turn it back to where it needs to be. And when I'm over here, can you guys hear me okay? Alright, so let's go to step 7. Okay. Now I want to go ahead and stop that because I see a little piece of thread sticking up still from that, the start of that stitch. Alright, that's better. Now, is that a good angle? Yeah, that's pretty good. I'm so far away from that machine. I need to get my camera so it'll be closer to it. But usually the machine's closer and then it's really loud, so I moved it away. You can hear me when I'm over there. Thank you. Thanks for letting me know. Okay, are you talking about the scan and cut 755? I don't have a scan and cut. Thank you, Donzel. Alright, so this is the last stitch and it takes quite a while. It's kind of takes quite a while. So, let me see how many minutes it says. And I had it slowed down so much, so it's going to take even longer. Let me speed it up a little bit. Just a little bit. And then, okay, I'm going to run downstairs and get the part of my basket that maybe we can finish together next week. Okay? So, talk to each other. Oh, look over here. Talk to each other. Meet a new friend. Say hi. And I'll be right back. But I have to go downstairs, so it's going to take just a minute. All right. Okay, apparently it is in this room somewhere because it's not down on my table where I was sewing. So I brought something else up for show and tell. I don't know. But we did a Zoom. It's been quite a few months ago now. Let me check this out, see how it's doing. Alright, still doing the zigzag. Oh, Cindy, are you talking about like these types of baskets? I'm pretty sure I do have a video on it. My favorite one is over here. I use it for thread on my multi-needle for little scrap pieces of thread. You can see I got all kinds of thread in it. But this is, whoops, this is my favorite one. I just think that fabric is so pretty. This is just cheap Walmart fabric. Alright. So for show and tell, months ago, we did jelly roll rugs on a Zoom. And I finished mine after the Zoom 100%. And thank you, Ida. She said, thumbs up, please. Oh, I'm glad you're done for tonight, Kristen. All right, so I got this 100% done, but it was cupping on the outside. So I ripped. I still see thread all over the place from when I seam ripped it. But zigzags are pretty easy to seam rip. I seam ripped it back to this part right here. I'm just still pulling thread out because this part was fairly flat. I see a little waviness here, but I need to finish this and try to get it more flat this time. So, have you made a jelly roll rug before? Number one, have you made one before? Because question number two is, I thought I was keeping it so flat. I thought I was doing so well. What's your advice for me? But look at these colors. They're so pretty. And then there's more. All that when I started balling up and I didn't finish. Kristen, how am I supposed to keep it from cupping? Thank you. Yeah, I wish I could find my jelly roll strips I had sewn together from my basket. But I can't. I cannot put my hands on it right now. Oh, yes I can. Here we go. Alright, so there's what I have done so far for basket. And for what I'm going to put in the basket, I feel like I need to go up. This is 2 strips. Each of these are 2 strips. So I did 2 of these, 2 of these, 2 of these, and then just zigzagged them, all together. And I feel like I need to go up 2 more for what I'm going to do. And then it's going to be a pretty big basket. Like, instead of a tiny one, it's going to be about like that. And I think what I'll do is cut this down and zigzag it together. And then I'm going to use some coordinating fabric and make a band that goes around it, to hide that seam. And then what I think would be cute, maybe I'll overlap it a little bit. Then what I think would be cute is like 2 or 3 big wood buttons on it. I think that'd be cute, or some type of flower that I make, if I knew how to make flowers. But that's going to be for my granny glasses, aka my Danny glasses. Thank you. Go super slow, really scrunch at the curves, and have a super flat surface. So Kristen, the bottom, I've toyed with a few things. I've toyed with actually putting a wood piece in my laser and making holes in it that I could sew through. I've toyed with using leather. But honestly, I think I might just use some coordinating fabric and sew around bottom, pretty side up, pretty side down, and then pin it you know, around. Like I had to do this one. No, not that one. Oh, here we go. Now this is just goofy fabric too, because I use goofy fabric for practicing, but this didn't turn out so well. It has a green top and birthday looking fabric, and then I sewed the bottom on, and it was quite something. Quite something for a person that doesn't sew in the round very well. I might do something like that for the bottom. You know what? Cindy, when I saw this thing sitting around over there, I was like, hey, that could be like, what are they called? The hats. My dad used to wear that type of hat. Round the bill, like a Gilligan hat. I thought it'd make a cute bill for the hat. But it could even be, you know, a craft hat. Trivet placemats for the bottom, then builds up the sides like a rug bolt. Oh, okay. Robin flowers. I'd rather use big wood buttons, but Nikki, my husband tells me that my brain is always doing something. It's always thinking of something. Always scheming on something. All right, let me see how this is doing. It's beautiful. The loops are gone. Yay! Ooh, I'm hot. Now what I don't know is, should I have used a lighter color of thread? I kind of matched my thread to the applique fabric, and now I feel like a white or a super light pink would have made it pop a little more. I use the 2 1/4, Kristen. I go a little thinner than the strips. Aw, your dad was a chef. Yes. You made a sun hat? Yeah, and when I bought my batting strips, I bought like this package that had 3 rolls. And I didn't get it with the tube maker because I'd already bought my tube maker. Anyway, I still have 2 huge rolls left. And about that much of my current roll left. And I don't even like doing jelly roll stuff. So I don't know when I'm going to use that up. Although, I got to plug in my computer because it's in the red. Although we're organizing a craft weekend for my 2, what do you call them, aunts-in-law, Tim's aunts, and both their husbands died over the last few years. And one of them loves to sew and embroider and do all that stuff. And then her daughter also likes to do that stuff. And then Tim's sister likes to. So we're going to do a weekend, like a craft weekend at one of the homes of the ladies. And I think we could make jelly roll baskets. A small jelly roll project, not a whole row. That might put me over the edge. Hey, Rondrea. Day 10 without power. Oh my gosh, I can't believe you're still without power. That's awful. And I'm sure it's not cool either. That stitched beautifully. I was being so mean to it today, talking all kinds of trash on this machine. And I don't see a single loop. All right, we're going to tell my Poolin night-night. So that, ooh, I'm a sweaty mess. You guys are used to it though. Look at how beautiful this is. As far as stitching goes. What, you guys think I should have used a different color around Cupid? Look from this angle. Whoops. There is no looping whatsoever. Let me show you the one I did earlier today. That's the multi-needle one. It turned out really pretty. This was trashy. Okay, look in this right here. Can you see all those loops sticking up? Right there. And there. It just stitched out, to me, really shabby, really bad. It's not tight on the feet. Let's see, what's the back of this one look like? Yeah, the back of this one looks much better also than the back of this one. There's like no bobbin showing. So, and I did rethread it with this blue thread, but I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Alrighty. So I'm trying to cool myself off here. Hey, Qualities Creations. Thanks, Visionary Creations too, and Melinda. Thanks, Bobby. Thanks, Todd. Thanks, Rosalind. And Ida says she was out 4 days, and I thought I was a chicken on the grill. Oh, I can't imagine. Well, I know. I thought I was going to change the needle, and I forgot to. And the bobbin, I did take it out, and I put it back in. So, yeah, it does, Kristen. Looks very tensiony. It looks very tense. It was a tense stitch up. Actually, not enough tension. You like it anyway, Ida? Alrighty. I'm going to let you guys go so I can go downstairs and cool off. And I know you guys have a lot of fun things to do, things to watch, people to see, places to go. But thank you guys so much for being here. I do appreciate it. Maybe next Thursday we'll do 2 more rows for this. We'll stitch them on so you can kind of see how that process goes if you've never done a jelly roll anything. And then, I don't know, I'm just going to make up something to do as far as how to finish it off. The only part I'm worried about is putting the bottom in. I did it here. I did it there so I can do it again. But see, this one has a liner, so it covers the inside of the bottom, and this one would not have a liner to cover it. That's my big issue, is how am I going to make the bottom of this on the inside look nice? I want to look nice on the bottom and the inside. And I don't know how I'm going to do that, so it may not look nice, but it'll be functional. So, all right. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you. You have a good night, too. And hopefully I see some of you in Dempsey's live tomorrow. Thank you, Vince. Thank you. I had a fun time tonight. And then I don't know if Patrice is coming on tomorrow night or not. She might. She's been busy. So anyway, hopefully I'll see you sometime tomorrow. And if not, how about adding some bias binding around the bottom and using that up the seam? Let me think about that. Kristen, email me more details, because I don't. You're talking about like I'd sew the bottom in and then I could cover it with binding that would kind of come around this side too, and then use that same type of fabric for up here. Email me. All right. Anyway, if I don't see you before, hopefully I see you next Thursday. You guys have a good night. Bye-bye.